Ever seen a heart beating outside a body? Not in a metaphorical way. Like, my heart's on the floor after that breakup. I mean literally. Detached. On a tray. Still pulsing. Wild, right? Okay, let me throw you straight into the weird. Back in med school, there's this moment they don't warn you about. You're in the lab, gloves on, and suddenly, someone lifts a heart out of a chest cavity and it's still going. Not connected to anything. No brain, no body. Just beat, beat, beat. How is that not creepy? Even med students, those future doctor house types, some of them freeze. You expect the brain to be the boss, but here's this muscle, completely rogue, still vibing like it didn't get the memo the body is dead. Most people think the brain controls the heart, that when the brain dies, everything else shuts down. Turns out, that's a lie your biology teacher told you to help you sleep at night. Alright, flashback time. It's the early 1900s. Scientists are poking around with frog hearts because, well, that's how most creepy scientific discoveries begin. They remove a frog's heart, still warm, still twitching, and place it in a saline solution. And boom, it keeps going. Rhythmically, like a defiant little drummer. They repeated the experiment. Again. And again. Turns out, this wasn't a glitch like we talked about in episode 1 in the Why Some People Think We Are Living a Simulation video. They realized, the heart doesn't wait for the brain. It's got its own rhythm section baked in. It told us that maybe, just maybe, your heart is more independent than we ever gave it credit for. You're not just driven by your thoughts. You're also driven by this primal beat, this pulse, this autonomous survival engine. That's when humanity started asking, is the heart actually thinking for itself? I think by this age you probably have heard of the classic question, the heart or the mind, which dash dash dash? Complete it in the comments section. See, in the heart there's a tiny jelly bean-sized patch of tissue that literally fires off electricity all by itself. It doesn't need permission from the brain. It just does its thing. Like that one friend who shows up to the party uninvited but somehow runs the vibe. In transplant patients, some say they feel things after getting a new heart. Like the organ came with memories. We'll dive deeper into that, somewhere around the middle of this very video. Keep watching. But for now, I'm trying to bring to your attention that if someone's brain shut down this second, their heart would still beat for a while, because of this self-contained electric grid I mentioned. Brother, next time someone says follow your heart, you're really stupid not to. We'll circle to that in a bit. Ladies, I have a simple question. Can you really rip out your heart and still see it beat? Tell me in the comments section. I will read every single comment. Obviously, you can't just pull it out and expect it to keep going. Without oxygen and nutrients, even the most hardcore heart will reach a heartbroken point. But, and this is a big but, in controlled settings, like during organ transplant procedures, they do keep hearts beating on machines. There's even technology that pumps blood through the heart while it's in a box, keeping it alive until it's ready to be stitched into someone else. And if you're a surgeon, this is one of the reasons you have to work fast. So yes, the heart can be its own tiny rebel, but it's not immortal. Yet, alright fam, some of you want me to speed up the video and go right to what happens right after the heart stops. I mean, there are documented cases where a heart stops, and then kicks back in minutes later, what they call the Lazarus phenomenon. But that's not happening. I have more important things to share with you. Did you know that your heart might actually have a brain? Well, not a thinking brain with thoughts and opinions on pineapple pizza, but a literal network of 40,000 neurons embedded right inside it. As scientists from the year 3069, we call it the myocore nexus. Those from 2025 were calling it intrinsic cardiac nervous system. The last time checked, but whatever. So yeah, there's a little cluster of neurons down there that communicates with your actual brain, sending data up, not just taking orders. Think about that. Your heart is texting your brain. Constantly. Sometimes it's like, hey, I'm stressed. Chill me out. Other times, yo, there's some really grave danger. Let's juice the adrenaline. And the brain's like, cool, got you. And if your brain dares to leave it on read, it's an abracadabra boom. The heart doesn't just receive signals. It has local reflexes, like little on-the-spot decision makers built in. If your heart waited for the brain every time something went down, you'd be dead. And in extreme stress situations, the heart can override certain brain commands altogether. Your heart keeps going, because its mission is simple: keep you alive. No matter what your overthinking brain is doing. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, my valued subscriber, and say your system can keep going without the brain but the heart. It just knows what to do. It's a damn biological DJ. You know what's funny? This whole heart can beat by itself thing? It's not some divine design. It's an evolutionary accident. See, back in early vertebrates, think jawless fish for example, the heart needed to keep going no matter what, even when the brain was busy processing stimuli like light, danger, movement. So nature went, okay, let's put a local power station in the heart. And over time, that little autonomous unit became so good at its job that it never left. So now you've got this ancient zombie organ inside you, humming along on its own little script. Doesn't need supervision. Just wants to keep thumping. Why don't you pause for a moment and feel grateful for this superhero in your body? Can you feel it? That steady thump? That's the universe whispering. You're still here, you are still chosen, you are still becoming. See, my valued subscriber, every pump of your heart is a cosmic yes to your existence. Now stop. Place your hand over your chest. Feel that rhythm? That's 1,440 minutes. Your heart will beat just for you. That's well over 100,000 gentle reminders today that life is flowing through you like a sacred river. So what if, just for a moment, you whispered back, "Thank you, because you're alive." Subscribers, gratitude for your heart isn't small. It's the ground floor of the mansion of miracles, waiting to be built around you. As you vibrate with appreciation, and as the universe echoes back with abundance, let's continue and finish today's video. Brains overthink. Brains spiral. But the heart, it just goes. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Let's zoom into the heart one last time, this time to the cellular level. Every beat you've ever felt, it starts with ions, sodium, potassium, calcium. These are the spark plugs of life. They move in and out of heart cells, creating a tiny electrical difference. When that difference reaches a threshold, boom, spark. One spark triggers the next, and the next, like falling dominoes. That's how a single beat travels across the heart, like a ripple in a pond. No brain required. No commands needed. Just chemical potential, a spark, contraction, life. And once you understand that, you start to realize your heart has never been just a muscle. It's been your body's first responder since before you were even born. Speaking of when you were born, allow me to go back to before you had a name, before you had a brain, before you even had bones. I'm talking about that first beat. How does the heart even start in the womb? Stay with me now. My guy, there was this day you were a tiny cluster of dividing cells floating in embryonic soup. And then, somehow, a flicker. A beat. Plot twist. I was very happy for you on that day. Scientists estimate that the human heart starts beating around day 22 after fertilization. That's before you even have a brain, before you've got a spine, before anything else has really shown up to the party. So what triggered that beat, you ask? Well, I will not give you a religion-based answer today, forgive me for that. But the scientific answer, ion channels and spontaneous depolarization. In regular words, cells in your forming heart tube just reach a voltage threshold and boom, electricity. Self-started, like a battery that installs itself. So now you are ahead of 95% of the players, because you now know the heart didn't wait for your brain. It predated your brain. I will say it again, always. Follow your heart. And if you're dumb enough to ask me why, I will take it and say your here was your first you. Your first rhythm. Your first identity. Even up to this point in the video, while the dumb fella is asking that why that I just answered, meanwhile the true thinkers are asking the question, if there was no brain yet, how is the body organizing anything? Well, the only answer scientists, who obviously be working with demons, could provide to us was, your heart acts more like a command center than your head during early development. Or maybe no enough research was done while scripting this. Who knows? I hear our embryonic cells relied on mechanical feedback, pressure changes, flow dynamics, and chemical gradients to develop. The beating heart later creates the flow that helps shape blood vessels, limbs, organs. But wait, if the heart that we all have influenced how tissues form and organs develop, what of the individuals born with irregularities like differences in the size of how body parts form? Well, sometimes it's due to genetic factors, where certain genes might not express the usual way. Other times, there could be environmental factors that influence how limbs and other organs shape up. If you want more on this, just comment "do a why" video on this, and it will be the first video you watch, first thing tomorrow. Alright, buckle up. We're entering woo-woo territory backed by some science and a whole lot of mystery. There are stories, lots of them, of heart transplant recipients who wake up with new cravings, new habits, even new memories. One girl developed a sudden obsession with spicy chicken nuggets. Turns out her donor loved spicy food. Another person started painting, even though they'd never touched a brush before. Their donor was an artist. Coincidence? Science is skeptical. But they can't fully debunk it either. That mini brain we talked about, the one in the heart, it could be storing some type of somatic memory, emotional imprint, cellular echo. We don't know, yet. But it adds one heck of a wrinkle to the question. Which brings me to the question, who are you, really? Elon Musk? Roman Reigns? Barack Obama, Livia Samoka, Leon Sameh, Christopher Cox, Mr. Beast, Mia Khalifa? Well, embrace yourself, because that's how to live in sync with your own heartbeat. If we are being honest here, we've all seen it. That weird scene in some horror sci-fi mashup where a heart is floating in a jar, hooked up to wires, still pulsing. Is that real? Or just Hollywood being weird again? Guys, while you can keep a heart beating outside the body, the same can't be done just in a jar of random goo. I won't let you go without knowing this too. How do they do heart transplants? When someone leaves their physical body and donates their heart, surgeons have a very narrow window to get that organ into a new body. Like 4 to 6 hours max. So how do they pull it off? Step 1. They cool the heart down, way down. Step 2. They flush it with preservation solution to prevent tissue damage. Step 3. They package it, yes, like Uber Eats, and race it to the recipient. The old heart is completely removed, not fixed, not patched, gone. Then the donor heart, still beating sometimes, is stitched in like you're swapping out an engine block. Surgeons connect major blood vessels with microscopic precision. They wait, they cross fingers, they shock it if needed, and when it beats, everyone in the room silently freaks out, because no matter how many times you see it, it never stops being mind-blowing. The heart reboots itself, kind of like system reboot complete. I wouldn't end this video without this one. Did you know there are people walking around right now with no pulse? Not because they're dead, but because their heart has been replaced with a machine. Some of these machines work with continuous flow, meaning they don't beat, they just whir. So if you tried to check their pulse, you'd find nothing. It's the total artificial heart and LVADs. Again, I would strongly recommend you to go watch my video on whether or not we are leaving a simulation. And if you're still watching this, you're one lucky boy, because you will now know why we blame the heart for falling in love. Why do we say I love you with all my heart and not I love you with my prefrontal cortex? Because let's be honest, saying you stimulate my dopamine pathways just doesn't hit the same. Ancient cultures noticed that love, fear, excitement all cause chest sensations. Your heart raced. You felt heat, tightness, fluttering. No one had MRIs or neuroimaging back then, so they assumed. Clearly the heart is in charge of emotion. Fast forward thousands of years, and guess what? The heart does play a role in emotion. We just gave it too much credit. Additionally, "You broke my heart" is real, but not how you probably think poetic. Dramatic, overused. It's called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, aka broken heart syndrome, named after a Japanese octopus trap. Seriously, because that's what the left ventricle looks like during the episode. Extreme emotional trauma, death, breakup, shock, can cause your heart to temporarily balloon, stop pumping effectively, and mimic a heart attack. Can you really die from a broken heart? Yes, you can. It's rare. It's dramatic. But it's medically documented. Spouses of recently deceased partners have higher chances of dying within days. Elderly couples pass within hours of each other. Parents collapse after losing children. Why? Because grief plus stress hormones equals chaos in the cardiovascular system. The rhythm breaks. The heart can't hold it together. My dad told us many times how both his parents died within nights of each other, when he was just 13. I used to question it. Now I understand why. This might explain why. And if you're out here flexing while you know you broke that little girl's heart, you broke her good, like so good, like you made those sad indie lyrics diagnosing her, you might want to send some flowers, boy, because while most recover, some don't. Roger that. Okay, since today's video title is about the beating heart, let's also talk the mother of the nation. Ancient Egyptians, they believed the heart was the seat of the soul. During mummification, they removed the brain but left the heart. They believed the heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at to determine one's fate in the afterlife. The Aztecs from modern-day Mexico sacrificed living hearts to feed the sun god. No heart equals no sunlight equals cosmic chaos. They believed the tona, or heart, was the divine energy that sustained the universe. Early Christians referenced the Sacred Heart as the source of divine emotion. That is, the Sacred Heart of Jesus became a symbol of divine love. For the Hindus, they referenced the heart chakra, or the anahata, pardon me if that's not the correct spelling. They told us anahata was the spiritual center. And in Islam, the heart, or Arabically qalb, wasn't just an organ, it was one's moral compass and inner eye. And in many indigenous cultures, the heartbeat was tied to rhythm, earth cycles, drumming, and even animal communication. So what's with the so much heart worship? Well, because they all notice the same thing. The heart is the only organ you can feel, really feel, when something matters. So let's zoom out. After all the science, the sparks, the myths, what is your heart really? It's your constant. The first rhythm you ever knew. The last rhythm you'll ever feel. It doesn't speak in words. It speaks in pulses. When you listen, you start to move differently. The heart is usually the last thing to go. Even when the brain shuts down, breathing slows, consciousness fades, your heart holds the line. It resists. It delays. Because the heart is built to fight. This, my friend, is why the heart keeps beating outside the body. The heart keeps beating outside the body because it never needed permission to start. It was born with rhythm, programmed for persistence, fiercely, stubbornly independent. It's not obeying orders. It's fulfilling instinct. And in that stubborn rhythm lies something sacred. The heart doesn't care about theory, ego, or logic. It just wants to go, until it can't. And even when it's cut off, unplugged, alone, it still fights for the beat, just like you. And in those final minutes when everything else is silent, the heart whispers one last message. You are alive, fully, wildly, beautifully, and it stops. Thank you for watching this video, and I thank my heart, I thank this day, for letting me publish this video for the good of humanity. If your heart's still going, drop a comment to appreciate. Sub if you feel more alive after watching this video, and hit replay, because every beat, every rewatch, echoes louder, and we're not done yet. Our next why captures why people ghost their closest friends. So check it out before the simulation pulls the plug.